do I have a special treat for you guys today. In this video, I'm gonna sit down with the founders of ZOLTO, Ramon Darbidian and Mish Chitarians. I'm gonna be doing a sit-down interview with the guys, and also I'll be showing you guys how they shred on their instrument. So you guys ready? Let's rock and roll. Alright guys, well, we got the bandmates here, well, half of the band of ZOLTO. Well, man, I heard you guys' tunes. I've known you for a while now.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, guys, I shot his wedding. How many years ago was that?
8 years ago, believe it or not. Eight and some, yeah. 8 and change.
8 years ago, I shot his wedding. I actually knew your wife,
Lisa,
prior to your wedding. Her cousin, actually, and then we got introduced, and then I guess you guys knew about my photography.
Absolutely. Amazing photographer, guys. Honestly, amazing.
I didn't know you were a musician till like later on. Were you in music at that time?
I was, and I kind of started late in my journey of bands and musicianship. I started really playing at the home all my life, and I didn't start, being in my first band till I was 29 years old.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It's been a short and nice journey. I'm 40 now, but we're rocking it out.
Talk to me about your band. Talk to me about when was it formed? I believe 2015.
2015 is when me and Mish got together and really started sculpting ZOLTO. I want to say the best words, because we were trying to do something, and not to sound cliche, but that hasn't been heard or done.
Yep.
Every time it took us about 2 years, give or take, for us to really kind of get an identity for our sound and our band and the direction we want to go to.
But before that, like around the 2015 time period where you said, you want to get serious, and you want to form a band, did you just magically just think about, oh man, I'm gonna start a band? But
no.
So you guys formed in 2015.
Yeah.
So you guys were hanging out.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the way it was before this, one of our good friends, Fred, we were just jamming in one of the studios at MDM Rehearsal, and we were just trying to come up with a new sound. Basically, it was like a rock kind of progressive kind of mix up together.
Nice.
But that project didn't work out due to different reasons. But me and Ramon always kept our friendship together, and after that, we got in touch, and we just wanted to do something. Now, at the time, we weren't sure what that thing was, because you have to get together. Obviously, you got to jam together, to see what you can come up with in the long run. Sometimes things just happen, And I would say, I think you were right about 2 years in.
It took almost
about
2 years
in, just going back and forth. We came up with this formula that was working for us, basically, as far as the sound went. Because especially for us, we always wanted to do something that was different. You know, I don't want to play something that someone else does already, you know.
Copy and paste.
Copy and paste. I don't want to be a thrash metal band or a power metal band, this and that. I want to have my own sound.
Yeah.
And he felt the same way at the time. So throughout the years, we just basically developed that sound, and here we are today.
You know, so here, I'll just kind of break down a little origins. Me and Mish started the band, literally, it was two guys. We had a little laptop for all the drums and backing, and we used to go on stage live at the Whiskey, Viper, Troubadour,
yep.
all that spot, and we used to, thankfully, amazingly, sell crowds out.
Yep.
Just two guys playing, and we're the oddballs, because if you really think about it, I'm the keyboard player, he's the bass player, and in a big rock band, you're not the front guys, you know. So as two oddballs, when we try to make a big sound with it, and one inspiration I got one day, I was watching a Coachella series. I mean, it was a year where Daft Punk performed that night, and I saw the lights, the lasers. Yeah, they're DJs, but it's two guys with this whole atmosphere, making it like a big presence. And Mish was actually a really good support system when we grew up, because I had the kind of thinking that not a lot of guys wanted to give me an opportunity within chance, because it just was kind of an oddball things I used to do, and the way I used to play was different, because I listened to a lot of soundtracks, movie soundtracks. I like symphony, orchestra. I love the 80s, 90s rock band, and then Prince. I go all the way from Prince to Muse to Dream Theater to Iron Maiden. So growing up with that and having Mish really having that metal influence that I didn't really have when I met Mish, he introduced me to Meshuggah. He introduced me to, what was it, Dream Theater.
Oh yeah,
Dream
one of my
Theater.
favorite bands, guys.
Yeah,
Dream
right.
Theater.
Shout out Dream
Mike.
Theater.
Mike Portnoy, get back in the band, man.
Jordan
I like Mike Mangini's pretty badass. He's a robot, and he's a fast, and he's technical, but the heart and soul was Mike Portnoy. So
Shout out to Mike Portnoy. Absolutely
so
agree.
you then the drummer came along, and then the singer.
Yes.
Eli was
2009, 18 actually came by, and we had a previous singer, and we used to have a session player as a drummer. So we ended up, instead of having the laptop and all that, we started taking a session player for a drummer, because we couldn't find that ultimate drummer guy that wants to be in a band. Usually those guys are taken or booked, or they cost an arm and a leg for you to session. So, we wrote it out till 2018-ish,
Yeah, it was
right?
2018,
and then,
beginning of it.
Yeah, and we had Dro Nersessian as our first original singer. That kind of helped us develop the band with the singing voice, and more so because I compose for the band, and Mish is pretty much co-composing with me with my ideas, and so with Drode worked out great for a short time, and we had to go our separate ways, because we were looking for that operatic singer, someone that could, someone like a Queen type esque singer, but with today's sounds, and we met Eli Arnold.
Oh man, that guy's got some range.
Lonnie did
Lonnie. He's a
Lonnie Casillas, badass.
You guys know I play the drums, right?
Yeah. Dude,
So I'm always,
drummer.
your heart's with the drummer for sure.
My heart's with the music, but
Yeah.
I pay attention to what the drummer's doing. His I guess they call it, his the way he shreds.
Yeah.
And
He's
his chops. They
Lonnie,
call it his
you're
chops.
amazing.
Lonnie is amazing.
Truly is
man.
amazing.
Me and Mish had this specific vision, especially with my direction from originally. I always want to make this band very cinematic, very very relatable to all the, especially Comic-Cons,
Yeah,
all the video gamers.
You guys are, dude. You guys got some flying fingers.
Oh, thank you,
Thanks,
man.
dude.
Thank you.
Seriously,
Thank you.
and you with your guitar.
The famous Roland X Edge, black on black with a red.
Dude.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, if you didn't notice, they don't have a guitar player. an
Yes.
actual guitar player. Well, that's what kind of makes them unique. in
Yeah,
a
we're
way.
guilty. I'm sure you're gonna get some comments, but we were used to. We
They
always,
don't- They don't have a guitar player, and for like, it's amazing to me when I hear your tracks. It's like no guitar.
As I really progressed, especially with Jordan Rudess, Derek Sherinian, all the influences that I kind of grew up with, I'm like, you know what? What does that sound? So I used to go to YouTube, keyboard spaces, try to figure out how can I get this lead style-esque. I guess you could call
Wow.
it, I call it guitar-esque. We're not
It
trying.
sounds like
Thank you.
a guitar.
And for guys out and girls out there, I'm not trying to, for the record, I'm not trying to be a guitar player or replace a guitar player because I have much respect for those guys. I'm just trying to show you can also do something different with a keyboard and not just your typical.
You didn't tell me that.
Right.
I
know.
find that out when I watch the music videos.
Right.
Because, like, from the sound, I'm like, there's a guitar player. There's a
Right.
guitar solo.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? And then I see you with the guitar, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, Misha's playing the bass.
Right.
Drummer's there.
Drummers. Where's the
We
guitar?
got Eli on the vocals. Where's the guitar player?
Yeah.
So I was like blown away by that sound.
Right.
All right, guys. So, Ramon, I'm gonna start with you. At what age did you start playing music, and how did you get into it?
I think I was born playing music. I was 3 years old, playing on my grandma's pots and pans. I wanted to be a drummer actually.
Oh wow!
So it started out like that. And long story short, we came to America. I was born in Iran, raised in Germany, and I came out to the States when I was 9. And I pretty much wanted a drum set at 9, 10 years old. And we lived in a little 2-bedroom apartment. No parents gonna get you a drum set.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
So my mom, bless her heart, on my 9th Christmas, when I was 9 years old on Christmas time, she got me a little Casio keyboard. And she goes, Ramon, with her cute Armenian accent, Ramon, look, there's drums on it. And I was like devastated. So I'm like,
You know what? Sorry, but the funny thing is, these days with kids, you buy a Casio key. I don't know, do they exist anymore? But you buy a little keyboard, and with the attention span of some youngsters these days, they'll just throw it to the side and just grab their phones and start Instagramming. Or, the funny thing is that's just. We need to change that somehow.
Sure.
We need to get the young. We'll get to that a little bit later, but we need to get the youngsters involved in music somehow.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so you got your start with the little keyboard there.
And then I was devastated at that first because I wanted a drum set. And then I put it away for 2 days, crying, I want my drums. And then, the third day I just gravitated towards it. I was bored out in my room. My parents very strict. We had to do our homework, stay home a lot. So I started just doodling, and my mom noticed, my first song I think I played was Happy Birthday with this finger right here. So my mom kind of noticed that and told my dad, hey, look, your son's playing. And my mom, she's an opera singer, was an opera singer back.
Oh yeah, that's what you told me.
Yeah, and then so
That's awesome.
she used to always sing her songs as she cooked in the house. And, I started picking up on her melodies on the keyboard, and she was happy-go-lucky, and she used to always let me play with my friends every time I learned a song she liked. So I really ended up learning the keyboard just to please my mom so I could go and play.
So that you got your start at a really young age. So
Really
you've been
young.
in music since
30
practically your whole life.
Oh, pretty much my whole life.
And Mish, what about you? When did you start your musical journey?
I've been around musicians since pretty much the same thing since I was a kid. And plus, my mom is a piano player, and my old brother, he's a session player. He tours around, and of course, when the COVID hit, he had to cancel everything. He was booked already for 5 months, but everything had to go. But that aside, I started picking up the bass probably around the age of 14 or 15. Ever since I was probably 9 or 10, I pretty much knew that I was going to pick up the bass because my old brother was a guitar player, And I just never really felt that guitar was the right thing for me. I always enjoyed the
groove.
The groove, exactly.
The spine of the song.
And I listened to a lot of drummers as well because that's what I liked. And eventually when I was 15, I remember I was watching a video by this band called Mudvayne. And I really fell in love with the bass player, the way he was slapping. But it wasn't just regular slapping that you see. It was just different. It didn't sound like someone else. And also at the same time, I was listening to someone like Stu Ham, who also used to play for Joe Satriani, and Les Claypool from the band Primus, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And ever since then, I've been trying to just accumulate as much knowledge as I possibly can from different genres, so I can add it to the bass, you know. Because I mean, same thing goes on with what we do. We don't want, when he plays keyboards, I don't think you always think about, oh, this is how a keyboard player should do it. You just want to, you know, develop a new sound to just move on, you know, come up with something new. Same thing with the bass, you know, and that's about it.
When I look at other genres of art, so Vahagraphy is a photography channel, as you guys know, but I'm inspired by many genres of art, you know, whether it's musicians, you know, movies, you know, artists, painters, you name it. I want to know, is it the same way for you guys as far as musicians? Do you look at other genres of art and inspire you to write, you know, your music like
Absolutely.
I do with my
Absolutely.
photography?
Absolutely.
So, Mish, what other genre of art inspires your music writing and music?
It could be anything from jazz fusion to progressive rock to metal to even hip hop. I mean, honestly.
That's music. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the genre, like, okay, I shouldn't say genre. That's the wrong word. Type of art.
type of art.
Like when you say, oh my God.
Like paintings
yes,
or
yes,
sculptures,
yes,
stuff like that. Of course, I mean, because art in general is a way for us to basically translate what's going on in here in the physical world. That's basically it. So whether you're drawing something or you're making music, you're trying to convey what your emotions are at that moment.
When I see musicians, and it inspires me to take better pictures.
Of course.
Because they're jamming on their instrument. My instrument, yeah, I do drums as a hobby right now, but I used to be in Vendetta.
Yes, yes.
Shout out to Greg Hosharian.
Shout out, Greg. Shout out, Greg. You're awesome.
But I used to be their drummer in 98, 99, and my intro music right now to Vahagraphy is one of our tracks. But I look at musicians, it inspires me to take better pictures and stuff like that. You sketch and you paint and you draw.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, as a kid, I was always artsy as a kid, I guess.
so painters would inspire you.
Painters would inspire me. I mean, a lot of cinematic movies inspire me.
Oh, yeah.
I know maybe it's more detailed than just the painting. It's just growing up with watching Star Wars, sci-fi, and the illustration they would use back then and now, especially with Avatar and all these kind of awesome movies that really project the human creativity. That really inspires me. And I guess that's the way I kind of want my sounds to be like. It's very sonically and different where it hits your body in a certain way, just like a movie does. That's what ZOLTO incorporates. We always want to make sure you get that goosey feeling.
Yep.
If my hair is not standing up
Then
on
we're
my
not doing a
arm,
good job.
that means that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so-
the same thing with an image. When I look at a killer photograph that I photographed at a gig or whatever, it's that one image I go, okay. A lot of people might not understand why I say this is a wow image, but I feel like this is just an amazing shot. Same thing with your music. I want to ask you both this question: how you guys come up with your material? Who writes the music? Is it a group effort? The lyrics. Do you guys all do it together? Do you guys do it while you're jamming, or like, what your thought process is when writing the material?
Since the origin, since BMS started, I would come with this melodic idea, and Mish would either say nay or yay. So if he liked the song, then we would sit down trying to figure out the metal portion of it or the rock, and he would put it in, and it always worked out like that. And now, I mean, literally, it kind of is the same thing still. I'm 80% of the time making the melody, the original idea, and then Mish will come in and be like, okay, you know what? Why don't we add this, take this out, or it'll be vice versa. It'll be Mish has like a riff idea, and I'll be like, you know what? That's great. But why don't we take this out, that out? So it's a collective for the most part. But Mish, to be honest, to his credit, and I only say this, he's been one person in my life that let me do what nobody else used to let me do, which is pretty much compose. And because a lot of people didn't understand where I was coming from. And from day one, Mish always believed in the way I would write and, you know, sync my songs. And with him, we actually got better time after time. And so is my composing due to, because I feel like, and Mish feels like, in a band, there can't be 4 chiefs
You can't.
and 1 Indian, let's just, or
It never
3
works
chiefs.
like that.
It never
Yeah.
works like that, because it could work maybe with a song or two, and it just is going to be not so effective afterwards. I
Yep.
feel like there needs to be one person that has this general idea, and there needs to be like the co-pilot that co-pilots that idea, and the rest kind of sit with the ride and put their part into it. And you know, thank God we're very, very good in making Eli understand how we want to progress this song, and he's so talented. He'll
yeah.
put that on plus some.
What message do you give to youngsters these days? When, you know, because when I was starting out, when I was about 10 years old, my brother took me to my first concert, and this is how I got into music. He took me to a Metallica concert when I was 10. You know, back then I was, you know, Nintendo, Atari, and playing with my friends in the yard or whatnot, bicycles. He took me and I was blown away. So I feel like the youth these days, they don't have the same, you know, like doors that, or guidance that we had. All I see is youngsters just on their phones, and, you know, there's just like, it's sad to see that, you know.
You know, I guess I absolutely agree to because we come from the same generation. You know, I mean, I think when you grab an object or touch it, or you know, you feel it is a little different than just looking at a 2D angle on a TV or on an iPad. And yeah, that is missing, and the social networking is missing from the kids due to that. But
Yeah.
but also, I guess because we're going to be progressive going forward, and this is the future, and we don't have control of that. I think the best way is to take a hold of this kind of generation and the mechanics that it comes with, and use it to our advantage as our generation. And to give it out, for instance, maybe 20 years ago, I couldn't go out and like make a speech and a million people hear it and, you know, and share it. Where now you can make an impact. Maybe that same child that is holding that iPad could see a lecture from maybe us and see something that he or she likes, say from ZOLTO or from Vahagraphy, and go, you know what? I want to pick up photography. I think that's great. Oh my God, that's so cool. Hey, Dad, can you get me a camera?
I mean, times have also changed because, like, let's say back in the 80s or 90s, because I remember we were watching that live show from Michael Jackson the other day.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the man was pioneer, you know, he was on a totally different level. But at the time, you know, you didn't have much access to what Michael Jackson does in a way. You know, because media was limited, you know, whereas today you could go online and you see millions upon millions of different, you know, people playing, doing their own thing. So maybe that's one of the reasons why maybe the new generation is not as adaptive to, let's say, some type of music, because media doesn't give it to them, you know. And as far as a message for the younger generation, I would say 2 things. Be true to yourself. You have to do that. You have to be honest with yourself and the people around you, so you can go do the things that you want to do in your life. And also take chances. You have to take chances, you know. Don't be afraid to do something that someone else hasn't done, you know, because you could be the next big thing. You never know. But you got to take that chance. You know, don't be afraid. That's the message I would give.
So briefly, let's talk about your influences, musical influences.
Starting out as a kid, thanks to my dad, I mean, especially we used to live in Iran, so playing rock or anything like that, you know, was not a question. But my dad, being brought up in London a lot, you know, used to always bring me and my brother beautiful music from anywhere from Prince to Michael Jackson, all the way on that. So I was in love immediately with American music in general. And when I came to the States, you know, I grew up in Germany as well, so techno and all that.
What part of Germany?
Frankfurt and Bonn.
Awesome.
And you know, I used to
You
listen
like
a
the
lot
Scorpions?
of. Yeah, I love the Scorpions. I love the Scorpions.
Klaus,
Dude.
sorry,
That's
I
part.
cut
No worries. That's one of
You
many.
said Germany, so I was
Yeah, just Scorpio. Oh yeah, all day.
If you were to pinpoint one hero let's go with your instrument. Okay.
Okay.
So let's really center on, your influence as far as keyboardist. If you were to meet that one legend right now, alive or dead, who would it be, and why?
Well,
Keyboardist.
pianist. Right now, today's rock god is Jordan Rudess for me. I was fortunate to meet Jordan Rudess, and he's one of my ultimate guys.
You never met him. You met him?
I have, of course.
Was he cool?
Yeah. We follow each other on Instagram, and
so he was cool with you. Who's your favorite bass player?
There's so many favorites I could be talking about, to be honest.
Geddy Lee. No, just kidding.
Geddy's up there for sure. I mean, he's influenced a lot of people, including me, obviously. One person that I can think of right now is Steve DiGiorgio. Not a lot of people know about him. I think he still plays with the band Testament, but he also played in the band called Death. And the way this guy played, I remember watching his videos when I was probably like 13 or 14. That was the time I started getting into Testament and the more thrashy and kind of, death metal kind of stuff. And the way this guy played was just totally different from anyone else, because he would add more jazz elements to the music, and his approach with playing with 4 fingers and a fretless bass, it was just very appealing to me at the time, because I've never heard anyone who sounded like him. And you don't really hear his name. Same thing with Ryan Martini from Mudvayne. You don't see his names in magazines and this and that, but these guys are up there for sure.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed this interview with the guys here. Man, thanks a lot.
You're awesome, dude.
You guys are
You're
badass.
awesome.
Thank you, man.
If you guys want to find out more about the band Zolto, where can they find you on social media?
Absolutely. Under IG, you can look us up under ZOLTO_official. That's ZOLTO_official. ZOLTO1 on Facebook. And just type in ZOLTO on YouTube or Spotify and all the major streaming platforms, and you can find our music.
Yeah, those kick-ass music videos right on your YouTube channel, guys. So if you haven't, it's your first time, listening to Zolto, and you want to check it out, want to listen to the kick-ass tracks, go to their YouTube, subscribe to Zolto's YouTube page, leave a comment or two. They'll greatly appreciate that, guys. Hey, check this out. They even got their own stars. Zolto. Nice. Why don't we go inside and see what kind of gear Ramon's jamming on? Follow me. Oh my God, what you got going over here?
This is my little
Wow.
kingdom. This is a little piece of Zolto.
That's pretty badass, man.
Thanks, man. I'm a huge Korg guy.
Wow.
Love Korg. They're my number one. And also this guy right here, we got the Transcend. This is a new company. They send us out. This is all German, handcrafted.
That looks so nice, you don't even want to touch it.
Fly,
Look at the glowing lights right here, look at that.
I love it, dude. Yeah. That's pretty
Wow,
cool.
this is a Chronos, right?
Yeah, these are my 2 main babies. This is pretty much 89% used on stage. I loved it so much, I had to have 2.
I used to have one of these. I didn't
Did
know how to
you?
play. I just bought
These are
it.
great. Let's go.
What is this thing?
Yeah, this is everybody's favorite. Everybody's favorite. And it's pretty much all black on black. I call it, Darth Vader special right here. So,
Is this the same one in the video?
yes, this is the same one from Transcend.
That's the one
right
you're
here.
just jamming, huh?
Correct. This is-
Shredding. Nice. All right, so why don't we do some shredding now, huh? Enough talk?
Oh, I'm ready. You ready?
You ready?
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
You guys want to hear some shred? All right, here we go. Let's do this.
It. All right, rock and roll.
Hey, so you guys ready to jam something?
I'm ready.
Hell yeah, bro.
Hey, I'm rusty, man, so.
It's okay, bro. was awesome, dude.
Let's
مرسی واسه اونجا.
Well, guys, it was a lot of fun.
It was
Thank
awesome,
you,
dude.
Ramon,
You're awesome.
Mish. And I had a lot of fun today, guys.
Yeah, I had a blast.
I had a lot of fun. You know, I even got to play the drums. I haven't played in a while, but it was so much fun to just jam with you guys and talk about your band and just see you shred and, you know.
It was a pleasure, man.
So,
Thanks for coming, and your channel's awesome, by the way.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
And
awesome.
I want to wish you guys the best of luck in your future music endeavors. And just keep on rocking, man.
Hell yeah.
Zolto, check them out at
Zolto, ZOLTO _official. That's our IG account. You can look us up on Google. Just type ZOLTO, and you'll find us everywhere on Spotify and all major streaming platforms.
This is Vahagraphy. I'm Vahagan, your rock and roll photographer. And we'll see you on the next video. We got Ramon.
So it's like, bad. He does it. I don't know. 90%.
Hoi, 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 hoi. Schlafsuche rauf. Alle schlafen, ne?
Can you see us? Hey man, what is the smoke going on?
Rock and roll.
Yeah.